Hello, I'm Guy McPherson, Professor Emeritus at the University of Arizona, where I studied conservation biology and terrestrial plant ecology for many years. For about 30 years, I've been connecting the dots on climate change, leading us to abrupt climate change. And I'll be coming soon to a neighborhood near you, and I'd like to engage you in conversation. During that 30 years, and especially during the last few years, I have written a couple of books about climate change and what it means for habitat for our species. And that has driven me further down the road of abrupt climate change, which is a different process than the simple linear climate change with which most of us are familiar. So I'll be coming to a neighborhood near you, and I'd like to introduce you to a couple of people who have hosted me in the past and who will be hosting me again in the not too distant future. And when I'm coming to your neighborhood, if there's one thing I've learned about climate change and how far into abrupt climate change we are and how close to the abyss we are as a species, if there's one thing I learned, it's that it's time to throw off the shackles of culture. So when I come to your neighborhood, I'm going to be bringing my alter ego and my Kookaburra with me. So you have that to look forward to.
Yes, the geeky science guy can also have some fun with this, which is rather paradoxical, but delightful. My name's Peter Melton. I've been helping Guy put on talks on the West Coast, and I'm bringing him back again because just that, the paradox of the incredible challenging situation we're in, and yet what shows up in our humanity when we explore this, and about you, Guy, and about your talks and workshops and your message. So thank you.
Yes, I'm Pauline Schneider, and I'm on the East Coast, and I've hosted him here before a couple of times, and it's been an amazing experience, not just for me, but for the people who get to meet Guy personally. They've come from miles around, traveled hours even at times, and they find that it's definitely been worth the time to come and actually meet this person and talk to him, shake his hand and look him in the eye, because you don't know if somebody's telling you the truth or not until you actually get to see him and ask him in person.
And that's one of the reasons I really appreciate the opportunity to participate in these speaking tours, is I get to actually sit with people and look at them in the eye and have a conversation about a really, really important topic. And mostly in this culture, we're driven away from having those important conversations. So I like to sit with my tribe in every town I come to, and I'll be coming to a town near you. So I'd like to engage you in that conversation, that really important conversation that is very much worth having live and in person with members of your community.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning a couple of key points. There is the conversation that Dr. McPherson dares to take the conversation beyond where we seem stuck right now. As a culture and as the media, we seem to be in this place where scientists come on, they say, "Oh, look bad, we're in pretty bad shape, we better do something fast, we're going to be okay, have a nice day." And Dr. McPherson dares to say, "Well, wait a minute, well, what do we mean about we're going to be in pretty bad shape, and what do we mean about we can make the changes? What changes are we talking about, and what would that really look like to make those?" And when you dare to connect all the dots, a different story emerges than "we better do something pretty quick, have a nice day."
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, one of the things that we get is people really are jolted by the information, because there's really no there is no resource available in our culture to help people navigate the emotional crisis that they meet with when they learn that there's not going to be a future for their children or their grandchildren or even themselves. And so one of the things Guy and I have done is we went to a grief recovery method workshop, and we've become certified in that, and we've used some of those methods and adapted them to a very specific near-term human extinction type of workshop to help people navigate those emotions.
It's a different world than we grew up in, and some of the things that we've come to love have gone away, and more are going away. And so this focus on the unspeakable, death and grieving, really are unspeakable topics. in this culture. And so by focusing on them, we get to tap into what does it mean to come forward, to step forward. What does it mean for me to step forward in humanity's final chapter? How do I do that? What does that mean for me as an individual in light of culture, in light of humanity, in light of what may well be the end of habitat for our species?
Right, and there's no right or wrong answer to what it is that you choose to do. And that's a liberating thing as well. It's just a daring to look at ourselves and a daring to ask ourselves, who am I amidst this happening that's going on here, this abrupt climate change, this possibility of the end happening a lot sooner than we would have imagined, and shifting grounds. The playing field is changing. And people who speak about, oh, we'll overcome it, we always have, assume that the playing field's going to be the same, but it's hard to run in water.
Right. Well, when you have people from the IPCC telling you that it's going to be okay and we're inventing an app for your phone to help solve the problem, you know there's some kind of very strange, surreal disconnect there. And the discussion isn't taking place about how do you live in a time where it's not going to be okay. And that's what we open this up to. We make that available.
And the most recent book, Extinction Dialogues, How to Live with Death in Mind, dares to go there. And thank you, and Carolyn Baker and Andrew Harvey for helping to craft that book to say, let's gotta at least talk about it and dare ourselves to move into this next stage.
Right. Thank you both for the conversation today. I look forward to extending this conversation in communities, any communities that will have me. So if you're seeing this image, if you're hearing this voice, I look forward to interacting with you in public in the not too distant future.
And bring ice cream and cookies.
Yes. Thank you all. Come join us for a conversation. Add your wisdom to this all-important aspect of our humanity. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Guy.
Thank you both.
Bye-bye.
Can't believe how wonderful the world is. How grateful I am to be alive. But Mother Earth is crying. Can you taste her tears? Future generations are depending on us here. 'Cause I can see how fragile